Ever get that feeling staring at a blank page, deadline coming up, and your heart is just pounding?
Oh, yeah,
We've all been there right now.
for sure.
Today, we're going deep on IELTS writing,
Okay.
but not just the, mechanics of it.
Right.
We're going for those big aha moments,
Yeah.
those mindset shifts that can actually make writing,
Yeah.
dare I say it, enjoyable.
Right.
Our source today
Okay.
is a YouTube video.
Right.
It's titled IELTS Writing, Simple Strategies for a High Band Score.
Sounds interesting. What are we hoping to achieve with this deep dive?
Well, I was thinking
Sure.
whether someone is going for a top IELTS score, or
Mm.
even if they just want to write better generally,
Oh, yeah.
I think this deep dive
Yeah.
will give them practical strategies
Yeah,
and a surprisingly simple way to approach any writing task.
I like it. Straightforward and practical.
You know, the hosts of the video,
Mhm.
Ethan and Sophia,
Okay.
they start off by saying something that I thought was really interesting.
Right.
They said a lot of the struggle with IELTS writing
Yeah.
comes from us overthinking.
Interesting.
Yeah, we build up these mental walls.
I see what you mean. Like we psych ourselves out.
Exactly. They talk about how students can get so overwhelmed by the different question types
Yeah.
and the fear of getting an unfamiliar topic.
Yeah, that's a big one. That fear of the unknown.
Makes it feel really daunting.
For sure.
But their point is,
Yeah,
good writing is all about clear thinking.
that makes sense.
So if you can get your thoughts straight,
Yeah.
the words will follow.
It's like that saying, write to express, not to impress.
Right.
We get so caught up in trying to sound super smart
Yeah.
that we lose the message.
Exactly. It's like we forget
Yeah.
the examiner is a person too,
Mm-hmm.
and they just want to understand what we're trying to say.
It's about communication.
Exactly.
Okay, so ditch the fear, think clearly.
Right.
What's next?
So then they go on
Yeah.
to introduce what they call a universal essay structure.
Oh, I like that.
It's honestly beautiful in its simplicity.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
It's introduction,
Okay.
main body 1,
Mm-hmm.
main body 2,
Okay.
conclusion.
Classic structure.
Mm.
Does it work?
Yeah. It's like those classic structures.
Right.
They exist for a reason.
Definitely.
They provide a framework,
Yeah.
like a safety net.
So you can focus on the content.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's right.
And so they illustrate this structure
Okay.
with an example IELTS question
Okay.
about university students and volunteering.
Interesting.
And Sophia actually walks through a model essay.
Cool.
And you just see how it clicks.
Uh-huh.
Each section flows so naturally into the next one.
Yeah.
And it builds this solid argument.
Okay.
But then
Yeah.
what about those curveball topics?
Oh, nice. Those ones that throw you off.
You know, the ones where you're looking at the question and thinking, what on earth?
Right. Total blank page panic.
Yeah, we've all been there.
Okay, so what do they say about that?
They actually have this clever tactic.
I'm listening.
They say, don't aim for expert level insights right away.
Mm-hmm.
They say, just start with the most obvious point.
Okay.
And they even give this example.
Okay.
The role of advertising in modern society.
Oh, yeah, that's broad.
That's a big one.
Can make anyone sweat a little.
Right.
Yeah.
But their starting point is this.
Okay.
Advertising helps businesses promote their products.
Simple, but true.
Right. So
Well,
simple.
Gets the ball rolling.
It gets those wheels turning.
There's a real psychological benefit to that approach, I think.
Yeah.
It's like you're not trying to reinvent the wheel.
Mm-hmm.
You're just stating a basic fact.
Yeah.
And then you build from there.
Exactly.
It's like giving yourself permission to be a beginner,
I love that.
even in a high-pressure exam.
Yeah, I love that.
I like that a lot.
And they even offer this template. If
Okay.
you're totally stuck, they
Mhm.
say you can write, I don't know much about this topic, but I imagine.
Interesting. So you're acknowledging your limitations,
Yeah.
but still engaging with the question.
Right. It's like saying to the examiner, hey, I'm thinking this through. Bear with me.
I kind of like that. What do you think?
I think it's really powerful because
Yeah.
it shows that you're thinking critically,
Yeah.
even if you don't have all the answers.
Right.
And it shifts the focus to your
Yeah.
reasoning,
Which is important
which can be just as valuable
in an exam like this.
as specific knowledge.
For sure.
Okay, so we've calmed our nerves.
Right.
We've got our structure.
Yeah.
We're not afraid of the unknown.
We're ready.
What's the next big step in the IELTS writing journey?
What is it?
Planning.
The P word?
No, I know what you might be thinking.
What?
Ugh, planning.
Yeah. Sounds boring.
But hear me out.
Okay.
Ethan and Sophia,
Yeah.
they are huge advocates for planning.
Really?
And they make a good point.
Why is that?
Well, it's like, imagine you're going on a road trip with no map.
Uh-oh.
You might get to your destination eventually,
Right.
but you'll probably waste a lot of time.
And energy.
Yeah.
Good analogy.
And the best part is their method is super simple.
I like simple.
Just spend 5 minutes jotting down your main points and some examples.
Okay.
And they even give this visual, this sample plan for an essay about public transport.
Okay.
And it lists things like reduces traffic congestion.
Right.
And then example. Buses and trains carry more passengers
Okay.
or more environmentally friendly. Example. Electric trains produce less pollution.
Makes sense.
It's concise. It's clear.
Easy to follow.
It's like that roadmap.
Yeah. Do you ever find that having a plan actually helps your writing?
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
It forces you to think about the structure of your argument before you start writing.
Right.
You're creating that outline. And then it makes the actual writing process so much smoother.
Yeah. It's like you've done half the work already.
Yeah.
Before you even start.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've planned. We're feeling good.
Right.
We've nailed the intro.
Yeah.
We've got our main points.
Oh.
Now the conclusion. Sometimes conclusions can feel so awkward. It's like, okay, got to wrap this up somehow.
Right. Exactly.
Not sure what to say.
Yeah.
But they have this tip.
But Ethan and Sophia have this amazingly simple tip for writing conclusions.
I'm ready.
Ready for it.
Yep.
Mirror your introduction.
Whoa, that's interesting. So simple.
Right.
But why does it work?
I think it brings the essay full circle.
Okay.
It reminds the reader of those main points and your overall argument.
Without adding anything new.
Exactly. No new information in the conclusion.
That's a good point. Keep it focused.
It's like that satisfying click at the end of a puzzle. I get it.
Everything fits.
It all comes together.
Yeah.
And they use that public transport example again.
Oh, yeah.
To show how a good conclusion looks.
Okay.
They write, in conclusion, public transport is essential for reducing traffic and protecting the environment.
Nice. See?
Ties back to the main points.
It ties back.
Perfectly.
So we've got a structure, we've got a plan, we even have a conclusion strategy.
It's all coming together.
What else do Ethan and Sophia have for us?
What else?
Well, they have some fantastic final tips for scoring high on the IELTS writing section.
Cool.
We'll get into those in the next part.
Sounds good.
Are you ready to dive into those?
Let's keep going. Okay, so we've got like our IELTS writing toolkit now.
Yeah.
Thanks to Ethan and Sophia. But how about we put these strategies to the test?
I love it.
With like a real world scenario.
Practical application is key.
Yeah.
Imagine you get this essay question.
Okay.
Some people believe that advertising has a negative impact on society. To what extent do you agree or disagree?
Okay, a classic IELTS prompt. How would you approach this using what we've learned?
First off, no need to panic.
Right.
This is like a classic IELTS question to see how you can handle a controversial topic.
Yeah, and remember, we're not going for a Pulitzer Prize.
Right.
It's just a clear, well-structured argument.
Keep it simple.
Where do we even begin with something like this?
Well, Ethan and Sophia are big on planning.
Yeah.
And for good reason.
Planning is key.
Spending 5 minutes to jot down key points and examples could save so much time and stress later.
Totally. It's like creating that roadmap we talked about.
Exactly.
So for this question, what comes to mind?
Well, advertising promotes products and services, obviously.
Right.
Which can be good for businesses and consumers.
Yeah, it can inform people about new products that might actually improve their lives.
Like a new energy-efficient appliance.
Right, exactly.
Or like a health-focused food product. Advertising lets people know about these things.
But on the other hand, there's the whole issue of misleading advertising. Or creating like unrealistic expectations.
With those airbrushed beauty ads or the fast food commercials that make everything look delicious.
Right.
But they conveniently leave out the nutritional info.
Exactly. And we could even argue that advertising fuels this desire for more.
Oh, definitely.
This consumerism, which leads to financial stress.
Yeah.
And environmental problems.
That's a really good point.
Okay, so how do we translate all of these thoughts into a structured introduction?
Well, remember that simple structure
Yeah.
that Ethan and Sophia talked about?
Yeah.
We could start by paraphrasing the question.
Okay.
The widespread presence of advertising has sparked debate about its impact on society, with some arguing that it has a detrimental effect.
Okay.
Then we state our stance clearly.
Right.
While advertising does play a role in informing consumers,
Okay.
This essay will argue that its overall impact on society is largely negative.
Wow, that sounds really strong.
Yeah.
Concise, clear, and it sets up the argument perfectly.
Glad you like it.
So now, how would we tackle the main body paragraphs?
Each paragraph should focus on one main point
Okay.
with supporting evidence.
Okay.
So for our first paragraph,
Yeah.
we could dive into that misleading nature of advertising.
Okay.
We could argue that a lot of ads use manipulative tactics,
Mm-hmm.
like emotional appeals or celebrity endorsements,
Right.
to push products that people don't actually need.
And this is where we could use that fast food example.
Perfect.
Show how those ads focus on taste and convenience,
Yeah,
but they downplay the health risks.
exactly. And then for our second main body paragraph,
Yeah.
we could explore the link between advertising and consumerism.
Okay.
We could talk about how we're constantly bombarded with messages
Right.
about new products and trends,
Mm.
making us unhappy with what we already have.
Yeah, it's like they're always telling us that
Yeah.
we need the newest version,
The latest upgrade.
even if what we have works perfectly fine.
Yeah, exactly.
And we could bring in statistics
Right.
about the environmental impact of consumerism,
That's great.
like the amount of waste
Yeah.
from all the discarded products.
Makes sense.
Okay, so we've made our arguments.
We have.
How do we wrap it all up in a conclusion
Yeah.
that doesn't feel forced?
Remember Ethan and Sophia's tip?
Mirror the introduction.
Bingo.
Okay,
We could say something like,
yeah.
in conclusion, while advertising undoubtedly serves a purpose
Mm-hmm.
in informing consumers and promoting commerce,
Okay.
its manipulative techniques and contribution to a culture of excessive consumption outweigh its benefits.
That ties everything together so nicely.
That's what I did.
With Ethan and Sophia's framework.
Yeah,
We've taken this tricky IELTS question and
Yeah.
broken it down into manageable steps.
exactly. And the key takeaway here,
Yeah,
it's not about being an advertising expert.
right.
It's about demonstrating critical thinking, structuring your thoughts, and communicating clearly.
You've hit the nail on the head.
Have I?
And this approach isn't just for IELTS essays.
No.
This is a valuable skill for any kind of writing.
Like what?
Work reports, university papers, even blog posts.
It's about applying these core principles
Yeah.
of clear communication.
To any writing task you face.
I like it.
So are you feeling a little more confident now
Yeah, I think so.
about tackling those IELTS writing challenges?
Definitely.
But we still have more to cover, right?
We do.
Ethan and Sophia have some fantastic bonus tips
Okay.
for maximizing your score.
Awesome.
Are you ready to dive into those?
Let's do it.
Okay, so we've covered a lot.
Yeah, we have
Structure, planning, conclusions.
all the big stuff.
But you know me,
What's that?
I love those little extra tips that can really make your writing shine.
The polish, the finesse.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And luckily,
Yeah.
Ethan and Sophia have a whole treasure chest of them.
Yeah.
So they talk about the importance of using clear and concise language.
Right, that makes sense.
It's so easy to get caught up
I know.
trying to sound super academic,
Oh, yeah,
but sometimes simpler is better.
definitely.
Have you ever found yourself
Yeah.
like using words you weren't even 100% sure of
Oh, all the time.
just to try and sound smarter?
Guilty as charged.
It's a common trap.
It is.
We think complex language equals sophisticated writing,
Yeah.
but a lot of times it just leads to confusion.
Right, and remember,
Yeah.
the IELTS examiners,
Mm-hmm.
they're looking for clarity
Yeah.
above all else.
And Ethan and Sophia give this great advice.
What's that?
They say, write like you're explaining something to a friend.
Okay.
You wouldn't use jargon or convoluted sentences in a casual conversation, right?
So you want to keep it natural.
So it's like,
Right.
if you can explain your point clearly to someone who knows nothing about the topic,
Okay.
then you're on the right track.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Vary your sentence structure.
Right.
Because reading a bunch of sentences
Yeah.
that all sound the same,
Yeah.
it gets boring.
It does. It's monotonous.
It's like listening to a song with
Right.
only one note.
Exactly.
That might technically be music,
Right.
but it's not very engaging.
No, it's not.
So mix it up.
Okay, I'll like it.
Use short, punchy sentences
Mhm.
for emphasis
Okay.
and longer ones for explanations and details.
So it keeps things interesting.
It keeps things interesting.
Yeah.
And it shows off your command of the language.
Right. That variety is key.
And speaking of language,
Yeah.
Ethan and Sophia also emphasize
Mm-hmm.
using a variety of grammatical structures correctly.
Of course. Yeah.
Those little grammar gremlins.
Ugh. Tell me about it.
can really drag down your score.
For sure. Those little mistakes can add up.
I'm the queen of typos.
Aren't we all?
But taking a few minutes to proofread can make a world of difference.
Yeah. It's like having a delicious meal.
Okay.
But finding a hair in it.
Oh, no.
One tiny error can ruin the whole thing.
That's a good analogy. So they suggest reading your essay aloud.
Okay.
Slowly and carefully.
To catch any mistakes.
Yes.
That's a good tip.
And if you can have someone else read it too.
Oh, that's even better.
A fresh pair of eyes.
Can spot things we miss.
It's like having an editor.
Yeah, exactly.
They can give you feedback.
And polish your work.
So we've got our language grammar.
Proofreading.
What's the final piece of advice?
Okay, let's hear it.
From Ethan and Sophia.
What is it?
They remind us that the IELTS exam is not just about language skills.
Right.
It's about showcasing your ability to think critically and express your ideas persuasively.
We want to see your thought process.
And they say, and I love this analogy,
okay.
Imagine you're having a conversation with the examiner through your writing.
Wow, that's a powerful image.
It encourages us to see the essay as a dialogue where we're presenting our perspective and backing it up with evidence and reasoning.
It all comes back to that core idea.
Which brings us back to Ethan and Sophia's main point.
With that?
Good writing comes from clear thinking.
It all starts there.
If you can articulate your thoughts clearly in your mind, the words will follow.
So true.
I think we owe Ethan and Sophia a big thank you.
I agree.
For this incredible guide to IELTS writing.
They broke it down so well.
They gave us practical strategies.
And most importantly, they reminded us that we can do this.
Absolutely. They gave us the tools.
And the confidence.
To tackle these writing challenges.
So if you're feeling overwhelmed by the IELTS writing section,
it happens.
Remember, you got this.
You got this.
Embrace those simple strategies. Practice consistently.
And believe in yourself.
The power of belief.
And you know what?
What's that?
The skills you develop through this process will benefit you far beyond the exam.
Oh, for sure.
You'll become a more confident
and effective communicator.
In all aspects of your life.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
And with that, we've reached the end of our deep dive.
Into the world of IELTS writing.
We've explored the pitfalls.
Ragtag strategies.
And hopefully you're leaving. Feeling empowered.
And ready to write.
Now it's your turn.
Go for it.
Take this knowledge. Put it into action.
Make it happen.
And go conquer that IELTS exam.
Until next time.
Keep diving deep.
And keep learning.